beautiful speaker, Mr. Itumeleng Wai, who is a part of the mining industry. So Mr. Itumeleng Wai is a chief engineer of PMC. So he holds a Bachelor of Science honors degree in electrical engineering from the University of Cape Town. So he has acquired a governance certificate of competency in mines and works. So he also has a certificate in senior management development program from the University of Stellenbosch. And yeah, like I did say, he is the chief engineer of PMC. Can we please put our hands together for Mr. Itumeleng Wai?
Good evening, Program Director, distinguished guests, present and those joining us through the live stream. Firstly, I would like to pass my sincere appreciation to Unlimited Worship for organizing this prestigious event for Bapalabora and inviting me to form part of this formidable lineup of speakers. For 30 Rand, I think it's a steal. Let me introduce the industry I love so much, and I will do so through a series of disasters, and that's the mining industry. And we'll start with the Coalbrook mine disaster. Many of us might not know it because we are still young, but there's a few citizens in here that might know about it. Coalbrook mine is a mine near Sasolburg in Free State. The disaster happened on the 21st of January 1960. 435 miners lost their lives. At the time of the accident, approximately 1,000 miners were underground. And the preliminary cause for the mine disaster was that the mine caved in. There are reasons behind it, but I'm not going to bore you around that. Then there's another disaster that happened in 1942. It happened in the Benshui Colliery disaster, or it happened at the Benshui Colliery in China. 1,549 employees lost their lives. And the cause of the accident was gas and coal dust explosion. The last one that I want to share with you is the Vaal Reefs disaster. Vaal Reefs has had 2 disasters according to the history, but the one that I'm talking about is the one that happened on the 10th of May 1995, where 104 mine workers lost their lives. And the cause of the accident was a locomotive that fell in the mine shaft. Do we know what the mine shaft is? Ladies go to malls, right? A lot of ladies use escalators, or all of us use escalators, but there's also those that use lifts. Do we use lifts? We understand what lifts are, right? So when we go underground, we use the same lift and we call it a cage, and it travels 1 kilometer down. So there was a locomotive on top. There are things that are supposed to make sure that the locomotive doesn't go past, but it found its way, went past, and it went and rammed into the people that were in the cage going down. There's many more, and Dr. Mtswane and his fellow Leonard doctors are sitting here. Those are the people that see these things firsthand, because when anything happens in the mine, we all become patients and we go to the doctors. Those were the disasters. We do have fatalities, single, 2, 3 people losing their lives. We do have injuries where they disable us. But what am I trying to say to everyone? Or before I tell everyone what I'm trying to tell them with those disasters. All of us in here, there should be those whose parents are working on the mines, right? Do we have? I can't hear you. And for some of us, there should also be those whose parents are business men and women, and they are providing a service to the mine, right? And it's always easy to pick on Connie because she does. Bearing International is one of the biggest customers or biggest suppliers for the mines, and not just mines in Palabora, but in the whole of South Africa. So the message that I'm trying to, or even before I even give you the message that I'm trying to tell you with those disasters, is there any women here that aspires to go work at the mines? The yes is very low. When the program director was asking whether we've got single ladies, it was very high. And those single ladies are the ones that should be going into the mines. So the message that I'm trying to tell everyone is very simple. Whether you are a business person, whether you are a prospective lady that wants to go work into the mining industry, or a professional lady, male or female, it makes no difference. The point that I'm trying to put across is that mining industry, it is an inherently risky environment. Most of the time. Most of the time, things go well. However, when things go wrong, they can go wrong in a very, very big way. So what it means is that you need to be switched on at all times. It is a beautiful industry. I've been in it for the past, since 2006. I owe my life to it. I've got a good life because of the mining industry, and I'm still here. So they say mine safety regulations are written in blood. It's because of this accident. And through efforts of mines and regulators, we have seen drastic improvement in safety through the years, not only to curb disasters, but all injuries on duty. It is critical for everyone that wants to go work in the mines, whether you're a businessman, whether you're an employer, it is critical to note that for that reason, mining is heavily regulated in South Africa through Mine Health and Safety Act. It's very broad, but I will pick what's relevant to all of us. So we've got employers. So normally when Mine Health and Safety Act talks about an employer, it talks about a mine or the person that owns the mines, whether it's PMC, whether it's Fosco, but in this particular case as well, when we talk about employers, because I'm going to talk about the employer's duties, we're also going to talk about businessmen and women that supplies things to the mines. So there are three key responsibilities or duties for the employer. The first one is to create a safe environment. Remember I said to you that mines are inherently risky, but the employer has a duty to create a safe environment. So it doesn't matter. A lot of people get worried. What happens in the mines? It doesn't matter. The employer has a duty to provide training to all employees. The third one, the employer has a duty to appoint competent employees. So as much as mining is risky, we've got competent employees in there. So it's a safe environment. And then us as employees, every employee, doesn't matter who you are, the first duty that we have, or a legal obligation, is to look after our own safety. Every morning when I get into the mine, the first duty I have is to look after my own safety. The second duty that I have is to look after the safety of others. It doesn't matter who you are. Then the third duty for all of us as employees, we have a duty to comply. To comply with what? We comply with procedures, we comply with training, we are furnished with PPE or personal protective equipment, whether it's earplugs, whether it's hard hats, we need to comply with that. Supplier, remember I spoke about the supplier or businessmen and women that are doing business with the mine. You have a duty. And the duty that you have according to section 21 is to supply articles that do not create risk. So often you hear people, they talk about phone calls. If it go bad, the reason behind us, why we have, all of us, we have those duties and responsibilities is because in case of accidents, there are 3 processes that happens. So the first one, the South African Police Services, normally they would investigate culpable homicide. So with culpable homicide, they want to hold us as individuals accountable. Normally, there's also a process that happens later on, and the Department of Minerals and Energy, they go through that, and they take normally the mine employees through that, which we normally call it an inquiry. An inquiry, it's then an investigation by the DMRE where they are trying to understand for each and every accident that happened, who made a mistake, and if that person made a mistake, there would then be a recommendation for prosecution. Something that's going to come in a little bit later, I think, as time goes on, is normally what you see a lot with normal people when something maybe has not gone well in theater or if there's something, then they put in civil claims against doctors. I think sooner or later, all of us that send our families or that allow our families to work in the mines, that will start happening to all of us, whether you're an employer or whether you are a business person supplying articles to the mine, or us as employees. However, although I've mentioned a lot of those, there's a lot of opportunities in the mine. A lot of opportunities. For business people, you can supply articles, you can supply labor, and you can supply equipment. So it's broad. I'm going to keep it at high level. In terms of projects, you can do work with the mine. Normally you would tender for this, and you would have a contract, you would come and build certain things. So it's also broad. The other option that is there that you always see is the rental of equipment. Whether it's the yellow fleet or the yellow equipment, trucks, graders, you can rent that out. So it's broad, and normally the business people understand that. And I think if anyone would like to go through the details or to just ask a couple of questions around details, we'll be here, you can come, and then we can deal with the specifics. So in terms of personal, at personal level, we have everything in the mines, From a health perspective or health careers in the mines, we've got doctors in the mines. So every year we go for medical fitness tests. So we've got 2 doctors on the mines. We've got nurses on the mines. We've got hygienists on the mines. We've got environmentalists on the mines. We've got paramedics in the mines. We've got firefighters in the mines. From an HR and training perspective, we've got a lot of people that have done human resource in the mine. Lately, what we are starting to see because of behavior issues, wellness issues, we've got industrial psychologists in the mines. My mom is a principal at the government, There are times where I wish she could come and go to be one of the trainers at the mine, because the mines pay very well. So we've got training people, educators. So if your mom is a teacher, you should be asking your mother, have you considered becoming a trainer at the mine? So we've got everything. Finance, we've got everything. Accountants, buyers, we've got everything. Engineering, we've got mechanical, electrical, I've spoken about it. Metallurgical, chemical. One of the opportunities or the main opportunities at the moment, especially in this area, is tradesmen. If you want to know about tradesmen, ladies can become electricians where you don't have to worry about whether you are as strong as males, it doesn't matter. We've got career opportunities in the mines that are specifically, or that as a woman you will not feel like you don't belong here, like Kuni has spoken about some of the challenges that you will experience, whether in business or whether in the mine, in terms of just being a lady. There's opportunities in sales and logistics. So there's just too many opportunities at a personal level from the mines. So in conclusion, and this for me is what is important for everyone, I would like to leave you with a few takeaways, whether you're in business, whether you're a professional, or whether you're a prospective job seeker. Kuni probably touched on it a little bit. And she said, you need to have a dream. In life, if you don't have a dream, you have no direction. Because that's what a dream does for you. It gives you direction. You need to have a vision. A vision gives you direction. So I have full understanding that it will change with time. Depending on where you are, it will change with time. But at any point in time, that dream or that vision, you need to support it with critical actions. And not only do you support it with critical actions, you support it timelines. So this is general. It's whether in mining, whether in business, is the same. Normally, what do we do at the beginning of the year? All of us, we've got goals that we write down. We're going to lose weight. We're going to be running all over the show. So that's for me what is very, very important. It has already been touched on as well. The second point that I want to put before you is the fact that you need to believe in yourself. It's easier said than done, especially for the ladies, because you will be entering an environment where men think it's for men. It's not. You need to invest your time in it. There are times where I used to work 19-hour day. You know, we work 7 to 4. You've got 8 hours, 9 hours. But I used to work 19 hours. At this point in time, I work 10 hours. You don't become a chief engineer for working 7 to 4. So you need to invest your time. You need to invest your resources in your dream. You need to make sacrifices. I still remember, and these things, it doesn't matter. You know, all the speakers that have come before you will tell you, somewhere in their life, they needed to make sacrifices. So you really need to make sacrifices. Kuni touched on the most important part, I think also of her presentation, but I'll also touch a little bit about it a little bit later. But those for me, investing my time, investing my resources and making sacrifices, that is a model that I created for myself to get things done. So even yourself, you need to look at what works and create a model for making sure that you know how to get things done for yourself. The third point that I want you to take away is the fact that you need to surround yourself with good people. How do you know that these are good people? With me, with time, I've surrounded every single person that I've surrounded myself with. I came with 2 friends today. They are better than me in a certain aspects of life. I don't tell them because they will become proud and they will probably run away. So, but it's for me. I assess everyone around me. I look at their strengths and weaknesses. From their strengths, I learn and I apply. So, it has been touched a little bit. We heard about it when we were discussing smart makotis, and I think we heard about it a little bit earlier on. But also what is important, whether you're a business person or whether you are a prospective professional that wants a job in the mines, or you want, just like Itumeleng, you want a job in the mine. When you choose a life partner or a prospective life partner, be careful. A good partner will support your goals. The wrong partner will take you away from your goals, especially the ladies. I hear a lot of stories. Probably a lot of guys, your prospective partners will tell you, we hear managers, they touch your bums at work. We don't do that. That's not what we do. The mine is not any different from a doctor's surgery. It's not any different from Shoprite. That's not what we do. But that's the stories that your partner will feed you every day, because he doesn't want you to blossom. Kuni touched on it. It's very important. mentorship. Find somebody that you look up to. Just like your dream, it should scare you. But you need to walk to somebody and go ask that person and say, can you be my mentor? And I've written it down here. Don't go and look for somebody that's at the same level as you. There's nothing that they're going to tell you. Tomorrow they'll be saying, you know, we are busy marketing, but we don't have money for transport. We don't have this, we don't have this. All you'll hear is cries. Go and talk to people for mentorship, for people that have done it. You also need to have strong networks. Whether it's at personal level or whether it's at the business level. Don't go for people that are competing with you. I've already said it that you shouldn't go for people that are at the same level as you. And I think for a lot of us, because you are spiritual, while you are busy praying for your dreams, pray for good people that are going to believe in you. Because for all of us, I'm not standing here because of maybe I'm clever. A lot of people believed in me, and a lot of people gambled on me, and a lot of people supported me. So you need to find yourself that particular person. Don't find people that will tell you that every person has a price. Don't look for friends as a lady that will tell you that you are beautiful. You know, Itumeleng is young as a chief engineer. Go stand next to ShopRite. He buys at ShopRite. Those things will leave you scarred for life. You will become a patient either for Dr. Mutswane or for the psychologist. My last point, be resilient and disciplined. What is being resilient? And I went to the dictionary. Being resilient says the ability to withstand or recover quickly. Often ladies, when they've been hurt for a lot of reasons, you failed an interview or whatever, you spend too much time crying. There's no time for that. You must be resilient and recover quickly from difficult conditions. I've touched on it. You need to have a good support system. Whether it's on a social space or it's in the spiritual space. One of the very first things that I've learned as a young boy when I was at home is that Sunday is time for church. I never understood why, but later on I understood why church is important, why spiritual support is important. In conclusion, take time to reflect. You need to celebrate your wins, no matter how small. People will talk you down. No matter how small, celebrate your wins. Make time to review your areas of improvement. Somebody spoke about, I think it's Kuni again, she said it's easy to talk about your strength, but your weaknesses, you need to spend more time, even more on that, because those are the areas that you need to improve in order to succeed. Lastly, a lot of people make that mistake. They think when they seek for help, it's a sign of weakness. But I'm telling you today as I close that if you need help, go and ask for help. Otherwise you will die. And we will think that everything is fine with you. Thank you.
That was very insightful and empowering, and I believe that there's a lot that we learned, and I can assure you there's a lot of women here who actually would like to be in the mine, but I don't know why I can assure you of that one thing. They didn't respond, but they are here. Bahona, they are here. And this is one of the main purposes of this event. I know compared to what we had to give, this event is mostly for you to network as a woman and to learn from people that may be in areas or in positions that you may desire or aspire to be in, right? So I know we are here also maybe for the good food. Yes, the food is there, it's going to be great. We look very beautiful, but also use this as a catalyst for your personal development and growth as a woman in this space or in this place, and just learn from this place and learn from everyone who's here. I don't think, from everyone who's come here, I don't think there's anyone who's not approachable. All the speakers who came up front, I think they are pretty approachable. I don't know, but I think they are really, really approachable. Speak and network and connect with them and learn from them. And like he did say, if you would like to know some of the specifics in terms of the mining industry, they are here for you to learn of those specifics in terms of the broader functions that they do serve. Right. Okay, can we please give a round of applause for Mr. Itumeleng Wyatt?